योऽन्तः प्रविश्य मम वाचमिमां प्रसुप्तान् सञ्जीवयत किल शक्तिधरा स्वधाम्ना अन्यांश हस्तचरणश्रवणात् त्वगादीन् प्राणान् नमो भगवते पुरुषाय तुभ्यं कथाञ्चन स्मृते यस्मिन् दुष्करं सुकरं भवेत् विस्मृते विपरीतं स्यात् श्रीचैतन्य नमामि तम्। Hare Krishna. Welcome all devotees. Thank you. Today is the 9th session of our ABC community. Very grateful to you for being part of this online community. And today's topic is triangle of effective living. So today we'll discuss three important principles that successful devotees or Hare Krishna practitioners have internalized. So in my travels and observation, I've seen that devotees, like wherever these principles have been practiced, I've seen that the community, individually devotees as well as the community, is flourishing. And wherever these principles have been violated, although devotees are sincere, they have been miserable. So to understand these three principles, we have to first clarify that I'm not here speaking about happiness or happy living. I'm talking about effective living. So an effective life is not necessarily a happy life. Now, many of us have this misconception that Krishna consciousness means it is meant to give me happiness. So before we discuss the three principles, I need to clarify this point about happiness and effectiveness. Krishna consciousness is not about happiness. Sorry to disappoint you. Krishna consciousness is not about happiness. It's about, because happiness is what? Happiness generally for us, if at the level of the physical body and my mind. When we talk about happiness, it's generally we think in terms of senses or mind. We have no idea about what is spiritual happiness. So whenever we hear the word happiness, we think of how I'm feeling or how it's all about my mind, body. That dynamics is what we call happiness. So Krishna consciousness is not about happiness, if that is your definition of happiness. There is more to Krishna consciousness than feeling happy, because feelings come and go. Feelings are not something important because they are not permanent. So Srila Prabhupada explains that Krishna consciousness is a overall culture. It's not simply some technique of happiness, or it's not simply some philosophy. So if you're coming to ISKCON program, I don't think that our agenda as a preacher is to give you Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam. No, that's not the only agenda. We also share with devotees the principles of how to live, how to serve in a community. How we have programs for overall well-being. If you see, it's not, like before birth, we have devotees doing Garbhadan Samskar, isn't it? I'm sure in your respective communities also devotees do that. What does that mean? If we were simply a Vedantic society, impersonalist school or Mayavadi school, there are so many spiritual organizations. They just give philosophy and the audience comes, the participants come, they listen and they go back. But here we have Garbhadan Samskar. Before birth, we take care of a soul, and we also have Anteshti Samskar. We have devotees performing the Anteshti Samskar. So we have a whole program before birth till after death. So therefore, so what is this? So this is called effective living, complete living. And the foundation of Krishna conscious effectiveness or effective living foundation is spiritual search. We mistake Krishna consciousness generally. This is a community where I can share my heart, because I don't have the burden of following the mandate on the Vyasasana. So here it's you are volunteered to come for this program, so I can share what I strongly feel. Many times we have mistaken Krishna consciousness to be a better alternative to my social life or to my community life or to my family life. Some people mistake Krishna consciousness for philosophy class. They think, okay, let me get some philosophy. Some think it's about Hare Krishna is all about chanting Hare Krishna. Some think Hare Krishna is all about social welfare. We have a very narrow definition of Krishna consciousness. And all of this is true. I'm not denying the importance of chanting or, philosophy and all that. But this is secondary. The main thing is the spiritual quest. And that quest, that desire to know something higher, that defines our Krishna consciousness. And the rest is surrounding this search. So I think in the past, 2 or 3 classes before, I had discussed in detail the 7 purposes of ISKCON. I won't get into that today. But if you see, the first 3 of the 7 purposes is all about connecting to Krishna. The first purpose of Krishna consciousness, Prabhupada established, the first purpose of ISKCON is to systematically propagate spiritual knowledge, to educate people in the principles of spiritual life. So this is the most important, the first the purpose of ISKCON. The second is to give Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita. And third is to bring all of us together to each other and to Krishna. So the first 3 is all about Krishna coming together, having association. And then we have the 4th is Sankirtan, the 5th is making temples, and 6th is farm community, simple living, high thinking, and the last one is publishing books. So we can't mistake Krishna consciousness to be something else. We can't change the mandate. The foundational edifice of Krishna consciousness is revealed in the Bhagavatam, which Srila Prabhupada embodied. We want to seek a truth beyond this body, mind, intelligence, beyond this material world. We want a connection with the supreme absolute truth. That is the foundation of Krishna consciousness. And this is there everywhere in our books, in our lectures. Srila Prabhupada, he would often quote this verse from the 5th chapter of 1st canto. Taseva heto prayate tako vido na labhyate yad brahmatamu paryada talabhyate dukkha vadanyata sukham kalena sarvatra gabhira ramasa. So Narad Muni is telling Vyasdev, what is the purpose of ISKCON? What is the purpose of a spiritual life? Seek that. Na labhyate yad brahmata muparyada. Seek something which you won't get by traveling all over the material world. You may think, well, what I won't get is happiness. He says, no, happiness you will get. Talabhyate dukkha vadanyata sukham. Dukkha and sukha you will automatically get because you have this body. Just like dukkha, suffering, you get without asking. Is there anyone here in this group who has prayed to Krishna that, oh Krishna, please let me fail in my exams, or let me meet with an accident, or we don't pray for all of this, but don't we go through this in life? So Narad Muni is telling Vyasdev that just like we don't pray for misery, but we get that, similarly, without asking for happiness, you will get it. Think about it. Happiness we will get just like we get misery. Talabhyate dukkha vadanyata sukham. Why? Because there is a very powerful force, Ramahasa. Narad Muni says that is Kala, time. Kalena sarvatra gabhira ramasa. Ramasa means a great force. There is a great force called time which sweeps us away, which sometimes brings happiness, which sometimes brings distress, kabhi kushi, kabhi mostly gum. We get all of this. We get happiness, we get distress. And if you see, therefore, Srila Prabhupada never compromised in all his lectures. See, by Krishna's mercy, I got this one nice audio device, which is amazing, which has thousands and thousands of lectures of Srila Prabhupada. I carry that with me all the time. It's there, it's an amazing device. I don't know if you've seen this. Where is this? I want to show this. Have you seen this? It's a small device. It contains all the lectures. You just have to see the book. It has all the numbers and the names of the lectures. So it's amazing. I get to hear. So every day I hear one class of Srila Prabhupada, and I've seen one point every class Prabhupada is saying: transcending birth, death, old age, disease, going back to the spiritual world. I mean, this is actually the spiritual knowledge. Any sincere spiritual teacher will teach us how to get rid of material entanglements. This goal we cannot ignore. Krishna consciousness is not about making our material life better. It's not about, having a better job, better partner. No, Krishna consciousness is about seeking spiritual life. You make material adjustments, whatever is needed, so that you can practice spiritual life. But in ISKCON, we don't want devotees to have conflict of expectations and confusions. The books, the preachers, the temples, they're all meant for educating us on a goal beyond material world. And Srila Prabhupada explains this in many, many places. I won't give you a whole list. You can, if you are regularly hearing Srila Prabhupada's classes, you will get to know this. In the 5th canto, Rishabh Dev, when he's instructing his children, the very first verse he says, Nayam deho deha bajamra loke kastan kaman har hate ved bujam ye tapo divyam putra kayena satvam shuddhe dyasmat brahma saukyam tvanantam. He says, my dear putra, my dear children, putra kayena satvam. This human form of life is not meant for working hard like the dogs and pigs. It's meant for working hard, but not for the pleasure that the dogs and pigs get. It's meant for working hard for a different purpose. Kashtan, that working hard is not for kaman, for enjoying. Kashtan, kaman, harate vid bhujam. Even the stool-eating hawks experience sense gratification. What is it for? Tapo, it's meant for tapasya, it's meant for seeking something higher. Tapo divyam putra kayena satvam, seeking something higher, and that is purification of the heart. Shuddhe dyasmat brahma saukyam. Brahma saukyam means spiritual happiness. So happiness is, as we understand, is not the goal of Krishna consciousness. It is Brahma saukyam, or spiritual happiness, which basically is effective living. See, the happiness is the way we understand happiness, that is illusory because it keeps changing. What makes you happy today will make you sad tomorrow. And what gives you happiness today will vanish tomorrow. It's transitory and it keeps changing. Therefore, human life is rare and it is meant for something beyond happiness. So without understanding this, we cannot understand the principles of effective living. Prahlad Maharaj in the 7th canto, we find this beautiful verse where he tells his classmates, all his friends have gathered around him and they're asking him, Prahlad, where did you learn all of this spiritual life? So he tells them how he learned this in his mother's womb and all of that. He's giving them knowledge about Krishna consciousness. And there he says, because the children are asking, aren't we too young to practice bhakti? Shouldn't we wait till we become old? So there Prahlad says, Kaumaram acharet pragyo dharman bhagavatam ya durlabam manusham loke tadap adruvam artadam. He says, no, when you're 5 years old, start practicing KC. Why? Because durlabam manusham janmam, human life is very rare. You may say, but human life is also temporary like the animal life. Yes, it's adruvam, it's temporary, but arthadam, it is full of meaning because human beings can understand that which animals cannot understand. You may say, no, but I want to enjoy sense gratification and the senses are going wild. So Prahlad says, this pleasure which we seek, this is available even to animals. Sukham indriyakam daitya deya yogena yoginam sarvatra labhyate devad yata dukkham ayatnata. Arey, happiness to sab jagah pada hai. Sarvatra labhyate devad. Just like yata dukkham ayatnata, without working hard you get dukkha, without working hard you get happiness also. So it's not that we should not work hard. Again, don't get me wrong. We work hard, but the scriptures tell us to work hard not for happiness, because happiness will anyway get it. See, when I'm driving from Mumbai, South Bombay we are staying in, when I go to Borivali, so sometimes in the train we go through this creek, Mine Creek, which is horrible. It is stinking, 5 to 6 kilometers before we reach there, it starts stinking. And it's like all the sewage water from Mumbai gets accumulated there. And as soon as the train reaches there, I feel like I'm going to puke. It's horrible stench. But I'm surprised, there are children swimming in that water and they're laughing and they're playing and they're enjoying. And I'm like, wow, these children are enjoying. They're happy. And we may have a billionaire who has his own swimming pool, private swimming pool, and he may be miserable there with all the servants giving him all luxuries. Material world is very, very enigmatic. It's crazy. So this verse which I was talking about Prahlad Maharaj, there is a line from Prabhupada's purport which I want to quote, which is one of my inspirations. So Prabhupada says, I'll just read it as it is. See if this resonates with you. Prabhupada says, there is no need to waste time and energy fighting against distress or working very hard for happiness. Our only business in human form of life should be to revive our relationship with Krishna and thus become qualified to return home. Material happiness and distress will come as soon as we accept this body, regardless of what form. We cannot avoid such happiness and distress under any circumstance. The best use of human life, therefore, is to revive our relationship with Supreme Lord. See, this is a very powerful sentence. We cannot avoid happiness and distress under any circumstance. You can try what you want. जो है भाग्य में वो भाग कर आएगा और जो नहीं है वो आकर भी भाग जाएगा. See, some things you just can't avoid. So Krishna consciousness success or effective living is not whether you are happy. It is how effective your life is, how your spiritual search is happening, how your spiritual progress is going on. Again, please don't misunderstand me. We're not saying that you shouldn't be happy, you should be miserable. No, we care means, care for mind also. So that we have discussed in the past, and today also I will speak about it. But first, you have to understand the basic principle. See, when you meet a Brahmana, in the scripture it is said that when you meet a Brahmana, the two Brahmanas ask, "Oh, my dear Prabhu, how is your journey of transcending birth and death going on?" That's the first question they ask each other. And the first fellow will say, my progress is going on fine. What about you? How are you progressing on your journey back home, back to God? This is how two Brahmanas meet. When two Kshatriyas meet, they ask each other, "Oh, what is happening in politics? What is Donald Trump doing? What is Modi doing? What is administration? How is administration happening?" Kshatriyas talk about administration, management, politics. And when two Vaishyas meet, they ask, "How is the stock market today? Dhanda kaisa chal raha hai? Fasal kaisa hai?" All that. They talk about money, business. And when two Shudras meet, they ask, "How are you? Are you okay? Are you happy?" Be happy. He says, No, I'm okay. I'm happy. Are you happy? So, again, happiness is important. Basic peace, because Krishna also says, without peace, we can't be happy. Ashantasya kutah sukham. So we need peace. I'm not denying that. I'm just saying the foundational principle of a spiritual path is not happiness. Srila Prabhupada was in London. He was addressing the Gujarati society. So he was invited to give a lecture to the Gujarati Association of London. And he began the lecture by saying, in the olden times, when people would meet, they would ask each other, "How is your journey going on to transcend the process of birth and death?" This is the most important question we should ask each other. This is how we began the class, rather than asking, "How are you?" This first sentence of his class, it was like a bomb which exploded in the heart of one elderly Gujarati gentleman who was sitting in the audience. He was kind of retiring. He was getting his daughters married off. He was retiring from his business. He was settling down. And when he heard this, it just shook him completely. And the very next day, he came to meet the devotees and he bought Bhagavatam and he started reading. And a few years later, he joined and he went on to become one of ISKCON's most loved sannyasis, His Holiness Srila Mahavishnu Goswami Maharaj, who is from Rajkot. He left this world a few years ago at the age of 95 or something, 96. He is such a sadhu, Gujarati gentleman, that one sentence of Prabhupada completely shook him, because that's what a spiritual guru, that's what a spiritual path is all about. Are we seeking something higher than our day-to-day life? So we see many devotees in ISKCON, we have begun nicely, but somewhere we go through challenges. Therefore, we also need to ask ourselves what is going wrong. So there are these three principles which makes our lives effective, which keeps us on the spiritual path, which makes us not get deviated from the search of something higher than eating, sleeping, sex life, and defending. So these three principles are, I'll briefly share what is it. First is shelter, a sense of shelter or connection to, this is very abstract, but I'll try my best to be as articulate as possible. Shelter and connection to something beyond my mind, my intelligence, my ego, I need something beyond this, my life, some shelter. Basically, in simple words, if you're a ISKCON devotee, shelter and connection means an emotional relationship with Krishna. And an emotional relationship with Krishna is like the first principle, shelter. Then second is sense of purpose or contribution. I'll repeat, it's not simply seva. There are devotees who say, I go to temple, Prabhuji, I do backup seva, I do pujari seva, I do cleaning seva, but still, they are following politics, they hear gossip, they are fighting with devotees. I'm not talking about service, I'm talking about a sense of purpose, a sense of contribution. I want to make somebody else's life better. I want to add value to the human society. I want to bring value. I want to give something back. That sense of purpose and contribution is the second principle. These are the two most important. First is what? Shelter and connection beyond myself, beyond this body and mind, basically. A shelter and connection beyond mind and intelligence. And second is sense of purpose and contribution. Now, there are devotees who have both of this in place, but still they are not effective, they are not fulfilled. That is because the third thing is missing, that the missing link, which is stability, physical and psychological stability. All three are important. In fact, the first two, connection and contribution, are interrelated. When you are connected deeply, you also are able to give. And when you give, you connect to something beyond happiness. Even in this world, I don't know if you've experienced, there are so many people you will know, they are not bothered about happiness. They have a sense of purpose. They may not be Hare Krishna devotees, but they may have a sense of purpose which keeps them going. Like you may know some great leader who may be criticized all the time, but he is happy doing his job because he has a sense of purpose. He or she has a sense of purpose. Like I know one friend who was always seeking pleasure. He was frivolous. He was a partying boy. It's a cultured family. He was not doing anything sinful, but he was very frivolous and very irresponsible. But when he got married, and the whole family, the community was, rallying around him, and then the way and after he got married, I saw him come. There was a palpable difference in him, And then he had a child. I saw him becoming very sober. Earlier he was very agitated. So because now he had a purpose. He had a child, he had a wife. So he had a life beyond himself. So in one sense, of course, family is also his own extended self only. But still, he had a cause. Like I know even young girls, they're giggling all the time, laughing. I feel they're so irresponsible. But once they get married, completely they change. And when they become mothers, that's the next level. They are very sober, very grave, and if they're grounded, and then they're also very gracious, because it changes. Because now you have somebody to live for. You have a purpose. You have something more than happiness to seek. But having said this, we also need to know that devotees cannot sustain this kind of life, a life of purpose, a life of contribution, if we don't have a connection, if we don't have shelter beyond this body and mind. One of the mistakes many of us do is, there's no easy way of saying this. Let me say this. One of the biggest mistakes we do is we seek shelter and connection in bodily identities. We seek shelter in our home, in our family, with wife, with children. No. Wife, children, family is not shelter. It is for contribution. In this world, any other human being you have a relationship with, that human being relationship is for giving, contribution. According to Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, shelter or connection is through Krishna, and in this world, we give. Otherwise, if we have expectations from our family, from our friends, from our children, that expectations, then the lecture of His Holiness Radhana Swami Maharaj, where he says, the title of the lecture is Expectation is the Seed of Misery. When we expect from our family, from our children, we are preparing ourselves for a disaster. The world outside of me is only for giving. The world outside of me is only for contribution. The world outside of me is somebody whom I want to serve. But the connection and shelter is with Krishna. The soul and the relationship of the soul with Krishna is where we get shelter. Now, for practical, for ISKCON devotees, what all of this practically means is, let us have an emotional connect with Krishna. And then when we are dealing with everybody else in this world, let us have a spirit of giving selflessly. Because in this world, everybody wants love. So just imagine two hungry people come together. Both are expecting the other person will feed them. And both want love. And both feel disappointed. But imagine one of you decides that I am going to take my nourishment from Krishna. And then when you take from Krishna, you are satisfied. And then you are giving to the other person completely. And the other person feels, oh, this person is giving me without expecting. Then that person gives you back because, trust begets trust, love begets love. So as the person gets love, the person gives back. And when you get, you are amazed and you are grateful because you didn't expect it. When you get something without expecting, you are very happy. And then you give more. That's a virtuous cycle. That's how our happiness expands. And all this is happening because we decided to connect first to Krishna. We decided to seek our shelter, seek our emotional fulfillment through a non-material source. And this world, if we don't take from Krishna, if we don't have this shelter and connection beyond mind and intelligence, if we don't have an emotional relationship with Krishna, if we don't seek this shelter and we instead seek this from this world will disappoint us. And even if we get love from this world, the vacuum still remains. There are people, there are couples who've known each other for years and decades. They feel, kuch to kami hai. That kami is Krishna. Because a human being cannot satisfy us completely. So now, the main thing is not this. These are the 2 points, connection and then contribution, right? Connection and contribution. But I've seen devotees who have both connection and contribution in place, but still they are not fulfilled. They're not effective. And that missing link is stability, physical and psychological stability, which means health, finances, learning, growth, mind, intelligence at the level of ego, doing things which you like to do. When these things are not taken care of, when there is no stability in terms of your health, mind, intelligence, ego, when you're not taking care of these aspects of your life, then even though you are trying to connect with Krishna, even though you're giving yourselves to others, you feel stress, you feel fear. Bhayam dvitiya biniveshatasya ishadapetasya viparyayo smriti. 11th canto says, all of us live in constant fear and anxiety because that insecurity, this world gives you that insecurity. So we need to do something basic to ensure that stability. So what I've seen devotees do, now this is very, very serious. I don't know if you will be able to take it. As an ISKCON devotee, as I said earlier, I cannot say this on the Vyasasana, but I can say it here on this online forum. I've seen devotees do many, many interesting, creative things to get this stability. And because of this stability, they're able to practice connection and contribution nicely. So I've seen some devotees go back to their family traditions. They go back to their Kul Devta. Some of them, they do many, many different things. Some of them do PhD. Some of them connect with their uncles, aunts. They come together with their families. Now, of course, as an ISKCON teacher, student, Krishna is the soul, super soul. Krishna is the only object of worship. Because there is no end to how much you can compromise. There is no end to how much you can go around in all these different things. So, we say there is either some acceptable form of Maya or devotees need so that they can continue with their service to Krishna. Because Krishna is very far. To reach Krishna, I need something. So, this is risky because there is no end to how much we can get distracted and deviated. Therefore, we need guidance. But I've seen devotees get stability through their family connections, Devta Puja. But as a preacher, I cannot endorse this because I'm a ISKCON preacher. Krishna consciousness is what I'm preaching. And I also Srila Prabhupada has always encouraged devotees to not go here and there, just focus on Krishna. But I don't know what Srila Prabhupada said about devotees who have spent 30 years in the movement. I have not found Srila Prabhupada's quotes on how to take care of devotees who are more than 50 years of age, or who are who've been chanting for 35, 40 years Hare Krishna every day. The kind of challenges they go through. What do we do with them? And I am interacting with such devotees also. And Srila Prabhupada's first, so 3 things I have not got from Srila Prabhupada's books directly. If you get them, you can share with me. First, how to take care of devotees who have spent 3 decades, 4 decades chanting Hare Krishna. Second, I have not found Srila Prabhupada's statements on how to take care of wild teenagers. Srila Prabhupada says a lot about taking care of children. Children is, because during Srila Prabhupada's time, all the children were small, less than 5, 6 years of age. But the challenge parents go through is when their children become teenagers. So I am not finding those quotes. I'm searching for them. And third, how to cooperate and live with your God brothers and serve with your God brothers in the same project. Because during Srila Prabhupada's time, when devotees had a fight or disagreement, Srila Prabhupada would encourage them to go and open new centers and spread. How did Krishna consciousness spread? Rapidly? Because if 2 devotees didn't get along well, okay, you go and start a center there. You start a center here. So he starts a center there, and then there also some devotees have some challenges. Okay, you go there. So that's how many places ISKCON spread like wildfire. So that's okay. That's great. But now we need to serve together. We need to live with each other. So what I have reconciled is Srila Prabhupada has given us instructions on these 3 aspects. It is just that these instructions Srila Prabhupada will reveal from the heart to a devotee who is sincerely practicing bhakti. It is not to be read as it is from the purpose, it is to be revealed. So those who find stability missing, I encourage devotees to do whatever is needful to find psychological and physical stability. Because then you can serve Krishna. I'll tell you very honestly what happened. I took one of the very, very senior devotees who chant 64 rounds, 128 rounds, 32 rounds all the time. I took him to meet one very senior sannyasi of Madhva Sampradaya. This sannyasi is Vishwapriya Tirtha Swamiji. He took sannyas in the year 1972. And our family is close to him. I come from Udupi. And we have seen this sannyasi gets up at 2:33 in the morning. Till 10 in the night, he is only worshipping Krishna. Okay, I have to give you this amazing, amazing background. This sannyasi is from 2:30 when he wakes up till 12:30 in the afternoon, he doesn't take a drop of water because he has to do all his deity worship and only then he takes water. And then after deity worship, and then he takes prasad, and then he will read scriptures, he will preach. Now he is 70 plus and his whole life is given to Krishna. So I took our Prabhuji to meet him and I said, Swamiji, this my very dear friend, he chants 32 rounds of Hare Krishna every day. I introduced him in many nicely. But this Prabhuji has this habit of being very humble. So he said, oh, Swamiji, Maharaj, please tell me how to control the mind. My mind is very, very restless. My mind troubles me. So this is his humility, he said that. But this Swamiji was very innocent. He actually thought that this Prabhuji is having difficulty with his mind. He didn't know that this devotee is saying out of humility. Sometimes devotees say that, Prabhuji, I'm fallen, I'm very bad. But they are not actually fallen. But they say it out of humility. So this Prabhuji said with all sincerity that, oh, Prabhuji, Maharajji, I am very fallen, my mind troubles me all the time. So this Swamiji very innocently heard him. And remember, this is a Krishna devotee who's been worshipping Krishna from morning 3 to afternoon 12 o'clock for the last 50 years. He loves Krishna. And from his mouth, Vishwapriya Tirtha Swamiji is well known. From his mouth, always 24 hours, the word Narayana comes. He keeps saying, Narayana, Narayana. He just can't stop saying it. Like if he's talking to you, he'll say, oh, are you from Bombay? Narayana, Narayana. What do you do? Narayana, Narayana. And if he drinks water, he'll say Narayana. Then he'll keep the water down. Oh, what is the time now? Narayana. He's like a Narayan. He loves Lord Narayan so much that he just can't stop saying Narayan from his mouth. So he's telling this Prabhuji, when this Prabhuji said, my mind is troubling me so much, all that. So very patiently, Swamiji heard Vishwapriya Swamiji, and then he said, Acha, I have a request to you. Do you chant 16 rounds of Hare Krishna Japa every day? So he said, yes, I chant 16 rounds every day. Oh, okay. Then I said, no, Maharaj, not 16 rounds. He chants 32, 64, 128. I gave him big numbers. He said, oh, that is all okay. Whatever rounds you chant, that is okay. But can you chant after in the end one round of Om Namah Shivaya. When I heard that, I looked at Prabhuji. This Prabhuji was shocked. His lower jaw dropped. He said, "You are chanting Narayana, Krishna all the time. Why are you telling me to chant Om Namah Shivaya?" He said, no, because you said, no, your mind is troubling you. So you chant Hare Krishna, you chant every day. Don't reduce Hare Krishna. But one round you chant for Om Namah Shivaya. So he said, no, but Hare Krishna will do everything. I don't want to chant anything else. So the Swamiji said, see, we are from Karnataka. We have problems in our state. We go to Modi and tell him we have this problem. So Modi says, okay, give that file to Amit Shah. So Modi is the boss. But Modi has appointed Amit Shah for Karnataka. He's a home minister. So he will take care of your state. Similarly, Krishna, Narayana is God. We don't deny it. But he has appointed Rudra for the mind. Rudra principle is for the mind. So you have mind problem. So chant Om Namah Shivaya. Then he said, no, I have no mind problem. I'm okay. He didn't want to chant Om Namah Shivaya. So we were laughing and all that. But then I was later on thinking, this Swamiji is managing a community. This Swamiji is helping in holistic living. He is taking care of families, children, the whole community, whole village, that whole entire Admar Mutt he's the in charge of that mutt. And last 50 years, he has seen so many families. So he had a more holistic, balanced view. So he thought this person is suffering. So I help him connect. So that's what I've seen many devotees also do. They do some Vastu Shanti, they will do some Yajna. But the risk there is, then they leave Krishna, their heart. Some of them may give up Krishna completely. Therefore, we need guidance. We need shelter. We need protection. And see, I personally don't do any of this Devta worship. I don't go anywhere else. I don't chant any other mantras. But it's not easy in the sense, I'll tell you one brahmachari friend of mine. He's gone through so much problems. I was tempted to tell him, Arey, Baba, kuch to ye sab puja uja karo. He says, nahi, I have surrendered to Krishna. Only Krishna will take care of me. But I'll tell you honestly, if you go, I don't know if everybody will be able to handle what he went through. He took a risk in a sense. He trusted Krishna completely. So generally in our preaching programs, in our classes, we give these examples to inspire people and motivate people to surrender to Krishna. And we give them faith that Krishna will take care. But in this ABC community, I am giving you that this is one reality. But there's another reality that devotees who surrender to Krishna, saying that only Krishna, I'll depend on Krishna, and if things don't go the way they want, I've seen over a period of time, I've seen them blaming Krishna or blaming devotees. And, Krishna didn't take care of my needs. So we expect Krishna to take care of a material life. So I'm humbly saying, why don't you do the needful to take care of your stability need? And then chant Hare Krishna also. But if I say, just depend on Krishna, and if things don't go your way, and if you criticize Krishna, then I lose you. So, see, the problem is, many times we say, just depend on Krishna. Krishna will take care. I'm telling you this, and you ask me, and then you do it. You just do Krishna. You increase your rounds, then you have difficulties. You just depend on Krishna. Basically, subconsciously, you are saying, Krishna, you are my servant. Please take care of me. Anyway. So you are doing whatever you need. And then when you have difficulty, you come to me, I'm not available. Then what will happen? You will feel cheated. You will say, Prabhuji told me just surrender to Krishna, but he's not taking responsibility for me. He's not there for me. I've rarely seen leaders who will tell somebody that you surrender to Krishna and I'm there for you. Just do what I'm saying, I'll take care of you. If you have a guru or a leader in your life who will ensure you that don't reduce your faith in Krishna. Just do only Krishna conscious activities. You won't need any other source for stability. If somebody assures you that, go ahead. But if you're not sure, then Prabhupada says in many letters, do the needful. If there is someone, Prabhus and Matajis, if there is someone in your life who will take responsibility for your spiritual life and you are convinced that he or she is your shelter, then follow that person. Follow whatever that person says. But if you feel you are alone on your spiritual journey, then I would request you do whatever it takes to come closer to Krishna. I'll repeat, do whatever it takes to come closer to Krishna. Do the needful. Because I'm saying this because I realize that though people are connected to Krishna, though they are contributing, this missing link is the stability, the psychological and physical stability. I recently encouraged one Grihastha devotee to do PhD. And I was like thinking, what am I telling him? I encouraged one young boy to start playing football. I mean, these are not what a brahmachari ISKCON preacher is supposed to say. I'm just supposed to tell them chant Hare Krishna and just depend on Krishna. That's what I do on the Vyasasana. But off the Vyasasana, when I see people are struggling with the need for stability, with the need for mental peace, then otherwise, I've seen people land up in extremely harmful things. I know people are addicted to pornography. They are binge watching Netflix all the time because because it's either Krishna or Maya. There is nothing in between. There is no semi-spiritual. There is either spiritual or material. There is no semi-spiritual for many of us. So I'm offering semi-spiritual activities like, which may not be purely spiritual, but it's not material also. Like, connecting to your roots, connecting to your, having some healthy habits like yoga or exercise. Okay, I'll give you an example from the Brahmachari ashram and then maybe we can have some questions. I don't know how to say it. Okay, there are brahmacharis. You must have known that many brahmacharis also leave the ashram. They get married, which is okay. Sannyasis are the ones who take a vow of renunciation. Brahmacharis can always get married. But there are brahmacharis who spent at the age of 55, after 30 years of brahmachari life, they want to get married. And, or, they feel lonely. So then when this happens, we reassure them, oh, it's perfectly fine. You can get married now. You are transitioning into the Grihastha ashram. It's graduation into the Grihastha ashram. Interestingly, we say that Grihastha ashram is bona fide, and we say that Grihasthas can go back home, back to Godhead although they're attached to their wives and children. They may be Krishna's devotees, but in one sense, they are worshipping their family members. They are attached to their family, but still we say they'll go back to Godhead. So what if a brahmachari is attached to some Kuladevta, his family deity? We say, no, that is Maya. Just serve Krishna. Are Grihastha is attached to his wife. Why not let me be attached to my family guru or, some deities, because we are from the Sanatana Dharma background. Of course, as a preacher, I've been guilty of taking a very strict approach, saying that I've made Grihasthas feel very guilty for being attached to their family. I've told them that you have to love only Krishna. Krishna is the only attachment. But then this has created insecurity in the family also. So that's another subject matter. But the point is that the expectation is from many devotees in ISKCON, every preacher's expectation, devotee's expectation from himself, devotee's expectation from the preacher is, we all have to be attached only to Krishna. And if we are lonely, if we are not feeling fulfilled, then we have to increase our service. We have to do more sadhana. And if a brahmachari doesn't feel fulfilled, then we encourage him to get married. But I've seen that devotees, even Grihasthas, are not happy in their Grihastha ashram. So I don't know if you have experienced this. I've seen Grihasthas having illicit, extramarital affairs. Because deep emotional connection with Krishna is not easy, because Krishna loves to play hide and seek. Krishna is not always available. And here we have contribution, we are serving, we have sense of purpose, we have a missionary zeal. We are also trying to connect with Krishna in a sincere way. In between, when there is no stability, then we land up in trouble. And when I see devotees having unhealthy habits, like, secret affairs or pornography or Netflix. So my humble opinion is there is a way out. The way out is Prabhupada says, do the needful, which is semi-spiritual. There is spiritual, there is material. Maybe you need to do a PhD. Maybe you need to go on a vacation with your family. Ultimately only Krishna can help. We know that, but we have to show our sincerity. Just like to connect with Krishna, only Krishna can help, but we chant Hare Krishna to show our sincerity. Similarly, to get stability, only Krishna can give us stability, but we have to show our sincerity to get that stability. And Grihasthas, they seek that stability through their careers, through spending time with their children and spouse, personal development, engaging in activities they enjoy. Sannyasis, I know devotees, brahmacharis who pursue PhD after some years, basically do whatever it takes to serve Krishna, to be connected to Krishna. Now, my realization is that stability comes when there is guyam akhyati prachyati, when there is heartfelt relationship with other devotees. So if you have close friendships with other grahasthas, other devotees, and if you have a heart-to-heart connection, then your stability is ensured. And this is the way we go forward. I'm open to correction, but this is my humble opinion, that dark night of the soul. In Christian tradition, they talk about the dark night of the soul, which means every spiritual practitioner goes through some period of dryness or some period of confusion. And at that time, if we have guyam akhyati prachyati, if we have close friendships, then, basically culture of non-judgmental acceptance. Okay, Prabhu, you need to do this to be stable. I'm there for you. Do this. If we can give support to each other to help them ensure that they have some psychological and physical stability, then we'll be able to have all the three principles in place. So, what are the three principles? First is shelter and connection to beyond my mind and intelligence, that is Krishna, or emotional relationship with Krishna. Second is contribution or a sense of purpose. And third is physical and psychological stability, which is taking care of the mind, intelligence, learning, growth, family relationships, health, finances. So what I'm doing in my life presently, these three things I'm doing. First is spiritual shelter and connection I'm doing through deity worship, sadhana, Prabhupada's lectures I hear every day. That is the spiritual shelter part. And sense of purpose and contribution I do through this kind of ABC lectures, through counseling. Tomorrow I'm meeting devotees from US, Guyana, then I'm meeting South Bombay devotees. So basically every day writing, giving myself to others, that is contribution. These two I'm doing. For physical and psychological stability, I do my health care. I'll be going for my exercise now after this class. Then I'm taking care of my younger brother. I'm journaling, I'm reading. I try to read. I write poetry. So mental health and wellness literature, I keep reading for my stability, although that is not purely spiritual. So these are the three things I'm doing. And I encourage devotees to do whatever it takes to be stable. Recently, one very senior Mataji in ISKCON, who is a devotee for last, I think, 35 years, she approached me and she said something, and she was in so much stress. She said, Mataji, Prabhuji, my husband is a very fanatic Hare Krishna devotee and he is prone to depression, but I know that he may get depressed. So I'm chanting one round of Mahamrityunjaya mantra for his mental stability. He will not chant. He's a Pakka Hare Krishna devotee, but I'm chanting one round for him. I hope I'm not cheating Krishna by doing this. I hope I'm not being unchaste. I hope I'm not doing something wrong. What do you say, Prabhuji? Now she was putting me in a fix. If I endorse what she is doing, then it becomes like, and if she makes it public, so I said, okay, before she makes it public, let me make it public. I'll tell you what I told her. So I told her, Mataji, since when are you doing all this Shiva mantra? She said, last 1 year I'm chanting. So, but I'm always feeling guilty that I'm cheating Krishna. So what do I do? So I said, okay, let us have a simple test. Last 1 year, how has your chanting of Hare Krishna been? Have you been chanting every day? Have you missed chanting? She said, no. How is your hearing and chanting going? How often are you coming to temple? She said, before I started this, I was coming to temple once in a week. Now I come 4 times a week. So basically I saw the things. Our coming to temple has increased. Our deity worship seva in temple has increased. Our hearing chanting has increased. Our preaching has increased. So I said, okay, if all of these things, these are the parameters of your relationship with Krishna. So you are chaste to Krishna because your hearing, chanting, devotional service is increasing. So if that reduces, then I'll be concerned. I told her I'm not bothered about whether you are chanting this mantra or doing Vastu Shanti, that Yajna, or you're doing PhD or you're reading some self-help book. I'm not bothered. I'm concerned about are you doing your devotional service also? If you are continuing your devotional service, then I don't mind what you do to ensure stability. See, devotees, there has been some problem in the past. Devotees have left Krishna consciousness because they got attracted by some Buddhist meditation. Somebody got attracted by something and they leave Krishna, and that pains our heart because there is nobody like Krishna. See, nobody can give. Krishna is like the rasa which Krishna can give. There is no substitute for that. Absolutely. And when devotees leave Krishna consciousness and they leave their vows, it just devastates my heart, because Krishna is the most loving, most compassionate Lord, but he's not our servant. We are his servants. We can't expect Krishna to take care of my job, my family, get me money. We have to do whatever it takes to serve Krishna. But then the problem, we feel scared is, we don't want devotees to leave Krishna. So therefore, this is always a challenge, a dilemma. Therefore, I will never endorse this publicly. But I personally want you to love Krishna, increase your Krishna consciousness more and more and more. But if you're feeling really frustrated and you are saying, Krishna is not taking care of me, I need this, I'm struggling, my relationships are going bad, then I say, okay, wait, relax. कितना रो मत, क्या चाहिए आपको? आपको जो चाहिए उसके लिए जो थोड़ा बहुत लगेगा करो. But it should be semi-spiritual or spiritual. It should not be material, because then you are getting entangled. You'll again take birth. Remember the whole class I gave today. The first was what Prabhupada is speaking in Bhagavatam. We want to get out of the material world. We don't want to seek happiness. Our life is for something beyond happiness. It's not for happiness. But still, we need some peace of mind, some stability to function in this world. So I remember one family, I encouraged their child to read Harry Potter series because the child was interested. So the parents said, Prabhuji, but this is bad. How can our child read this? He should read only Krishna book. So the child is saying, but I've already read Krishna book 4 times. So the parents are saying, no, you should keep reading. Then I had to intervene. I said, no, Mataji, Prabhuji, please. Krishna book repeated reading is for you and husband, Prabhuji. Both of you keep reading Krishna book every day. The child has already read once, twice, thrice. But the child's mind has to expand. The childhood is an age when you need to read more. Your intelligence has to become sharp. And you need to grow. You need to learn. You can't make your child read the same book again and again. You read Krishna book every day. Let him read more. If he wants to read Harry Potter, why are you stopping it? Then I told them secretly and privately that what if your child starts getting into all bad habits later on? So let him. How did you grow up in your young age? Did you grow up in a completely spiritual atmosphere? You grew up with good values. You grew up with good parents. And like that, let your child also grow. Let him be a good human being. So let us remember these 3 principles: shelter and connection beyond mind and intelligence, sense of purpose and contribution, and third, psychological and physical stability. Let us know that ultimately Krishna only can give us that stability. And if you have someone in your life who can take full responsibility for your spiritual life, and he or she tells you, just chant Hare Krishna, don't worry about anything, I'm there for you, then just do what the devotee says. But if you don't have such a devotee, and if you're not confident and you need something to ensure that you are stable, I'm there with you. I'll support you as long as you are not going away from Krishna. Because Krishna is someone who can actually give you that rasa. Even in pain and suffering, devotees are so grateful to Krishna. So do whatever it takes to connect with Krishna, experience Krishna's love. At the same time, life is tough and devotees do many things. But please don't do anything unhealthy. Devotees want Krishna or they get into complete Maya. बीच में थोड़ा semi-spiritual activities, healthy activities we can do and stay connected with Krishna. Hare Krishna. I'll pause here. We can have 5 to 10 minutes of questions and answers. Shivam Prabhu can facilitate if you would like, Prabhu.
So I think if anyone has any question, can raise their hand and then we ask them to unmute. Yes, Ajit Garga Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dharaplam. Many thanks for such a wonderful lecture. So you have 2 things. First is you read this purport, right, of Prabhupada's shloka. Which shloka is that? That is the first thing. And another thing is I don't know whether this is the right question to ask or not, but many times how to define sadhana, or what do we exactly mean by sadhana? Or what can we understand what sadhana is?
Okay, I'll answer both the questions. First is this purport which I read. is from 7th canto, 6th chapter. This is Prahlad instructs his demoniac classmates. 7.6.3.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
And regarding sadhana, what is sadhana? Sadhana means spiritual practices which have 3 criteria. See, basically sadhana is a practice. The literal meaning of the word sadhana is practice. So we are chanting Hare Krishna. Now, let's say Prabhupada also chanted Hare Krishna and we also chant Hare Krishna. So for Prabhupada, it is not sadhana. See, for us, it is a practice. We are practicing Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. So we are chanting Hare Krishna because we want to develop love for Krishna. That is called sadhana. When we do something for sadhya, sadhya means goal. So there is a goal you want. To get that goal, you do some sadhana. To get sadhya, you do sadhana. That is practice. That is called sadhana. So we want love of Krishna, so we do hearing and chanting. Is that clear? But Srila Prabhupada also chanted and he was also doing hearing and chanting. But Prabhupada was not hearing and chanting because he wanted love of Krishna. He was hearing and chanting because he had love for Krishna. There is a difference between using hearing and chanting as a means and using hearing and chanting as an end in itself. So I chant Hare Krishna because I want love of Krishna. My Guru Maharaj chants Hare Krishna because he loves Krishna. Is it confusing? I hope not. But, so now you say, okay, Prabhuji, I am chanting because I want love of Krishna. So is that sadhana? Is that enough? No. Sadhana has some more criteria, 3 criteria. First, it is Dirgha Kala. It has to be done for many years. Not, Prabhuji, I am chanting 16 rounds last 2 months, still lust has not gone. Array, 16 rounds, you have to chant for 40 years. You have to chant every day. It is Dirgha Kala. It is not a 1-year project. It is a lifelong project. Sadhana means lifelong. And secondly, sadhana is apratihata, which means there is no interruption. You cannot say, Acha, Prabhuji, my exams are coming, so I will not chant Hare Krishna now. Hare Krishna you will chant whether it is raining, whether it is winter, whether it is summer, whether there is death in the family, whether there is marriage in the family. You know, I met our Gudakesh Prabhu. He's been chanting 128 rounds of Hare Krishna Japa every day for last 20 years. I said, are you sure? He said, have you never missed? He said, one day I missed because it was my daughter's marriage. So I chanted only 64 rounds that day. He said, what? He said, my daughter's marriage. So I had to get her married. So a lot of programs were there. So that day I could chant only 64 rounds. But I made up, Prabhuji. Over the next few days, I chanted the remaining rounds. So last 20 years, he gets up at 2:30 in the morning and 3 a.m. to 2 a.m. he gets up, 2:30 to 3:30, 2:30 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. non-stop he chants. He's 75 years old. He sits in one pose and chants 128 rounds. And then anyway, it's a long schedule he has. But the point I'm saying is non-stop. So 3 criteria. First is Dirgha Kala, long time. Second, no interruption. And third is Sakarya, means you have to invest emotions in the practice. So these are the 3 criteria Patanjali Muni gave for sadhana. So you are chanting Hare Krishna is sadhana if you are adding these 3 things in your practice. You are chanting for a long time. It's a long haul, Prabhu. You cannot say that, Arey Prabhuji, my 5 saal ho gaya, abhi Diksha ho gaya. Many people think Diksha is the end of sadhana. I got Diksha. Diksha is the beginning. Initiation is the beginning. So then it's a long journey. It's uninterrupted and investment of emotions. I hope I've answered your question, Prabhu.
Yeah, yes, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, why I ask this because many you have answered it very broadly. Point is it often it feels that it is becoming a ritualistic sort of thing, and is that the way we should continue? So I got the answer. So this is something very good. Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you. Thanks a lot, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna Purnima Mataji, you can unmute and ask the question.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranams. Thank you so much for unveiling so many taunting questions during the process of our my journey, especially. I'm very thankful. Those items that you picked up being questions unanswered and only process given. When struggle comes and been repeatedly told to increase the count only, has become a haunting question, like how to progress. Am I progressing or not? I'm very much thankful to Krishna for me being here today under your presence. Prabhuji helped me a couple of things to connect with that absolute truth. It happened in my journey when I first realized on one Janmashtami day that Krishna is not the Krishna that I am thinking in the form, but it is much more, and it is a consciousness that has been passed over and then came out. And from that, when I completely lost on my chase to understand him, through Atmabodha, I understood I am not the body. And recently, one of the medical emergency in our house taught me lessons on Paramatma Tattva and how to able to see Paramatma in every jiva. I served a dog. Through that, I got the pleasure of understanding Paramatma Tattva. There is through animal maybe much easier to know because they don't communicate, but they give lot of lessons. I learned that. And my next understanding of, I don't say understand, but little flavor that Krishna revealed. The next tattva of the whole concept of consciousness, the Paramatma, next level, the Brahman, or what is it? Brahman, Paramatma, and the Supreme Person. Is there any tangent or something that I put my mind? Because when I heard that is a consciousness which is not expressible, not feelable, that is why it is that Paramatma. If it have been feelable, people would have, acharyas would have expressed it. So any tangent on that line of how I should make my sadhana, Prabhuji?
Just continue the way you are doing, because our acharyas have explained it in so many words, the spiritual principles, so that we get some idea, some sense. But ultimately, it's very personal, and this cannot be expressed in words. Just like, a person is drowning in the swimming pool or somebody is under the water. Have you seen somebody below the water and, his mouth is, just on the surface. And when they talk, can you make out what they are talking? It's like blah, blah, blah. They make sound in the water. You can't know what they are talking, but there is a sound coming, right?
Yes, please.
So that sound, see, deep under the water, there is no sound. So, but if there is talking, then that sound, some sound comes. So similarly, when acharyas explain their deep realization, it is like some sound, but actually what they're experiencing is much deeper, which we cannot fathom. So therefore, if you are going through some spiritual experiences, keep it to yourself, nourish it, be grateful for it, and continue doing your sadhana practice. Let the practice reveal to you more and more realizations. Be grateful for what you are getting, because that's Krishna's way of reciprocating with your sincerity. And we all have our unique realizations, like through a dog. I know one brahmachari who every day feeds dogs and he feeds fishes. And, but he loves Krishna. He does deity worship every day. So Krishna is revealing, he's on a journey. Krishna is revealed to him in a certain way, he's evolving. So many times, we underestimate Krishna in areas other than our beadbag and deity form. Krishna is present everywhere. February 1972, this is a very beautiful pastime. Srila Prabhupada was in Visakhapatnam, February 1972, and they were walking on the beach. And one devotee, Nanda Kumar Prabhu, Prabhupada told all the devotees, go and enjoy in the beach, dance, play in the waters. Some devotees said, Prabhupada, this is Maya. Imagine the disciple is telling Prabhupada that Prabhupada, this is Maya. Prabhupada is saying, go and enjoy in the beach, enjoy in the waters, swim in the ocean. And the disciple is telling Prabhupada, but this is Maya. Prabhupada said, what Maya? Ocean, this is waves, is Krishna, the sun, the sunshine that is falling, this beautiful sunlight, this is Krishna, the cooling breeze here, this is Krishna. Everything is Krishna. So go and enjoy in the waves. So then Nandakumar Prabhu said, okay. There was another devotee, Panchajanya Prabhu. He said, Prabhupada, but this is Maya, Prabhupada. I'm feeling, how can I enjoy this? In the waves, I should be like only chanting Hare Krishna. Prabhupada said, and Prabhupada, you know what Prabhupada said? Exact words. Prabhupada said, what do you mean? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu used to play in the waters, in the ocean. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu used to also play with the ball. He didn't say football or cricket, but Prabhupada said Chaitanya Mahaprabhu used to play with the ball. So then Prabhupada said, so you go and play in the water. That is Krishna. Don't forget Krishna. That is important. But the point I'm saying is, in normal day-to-day dealings, Krishna may be revealing to you through a dog, through your child, through your work. Don't ignore it. But don't stop the sadhana. Sadhana is a practice. Continue the practice and learn to see Krishna in everyday aspect of your life. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Prabhuji, there is one question on the chat also. They're saying like you were fortunate for getting the association of devotees, very close association, and you got stability. But what if I do not have that sort of association? Material wise, I am stable, but in material aspects. But association of devotee, very close association, if we do not have, like what is the other alternative for us?
My humble opinion is seek it. You shall find it. That is the saying. Be vulnerable, open your heart to some devotees, trust them, serve them. Relationships and association develops when we serve. Look for devotees whom you can serve. Relationships develop when we serve devotees. I'm sure there will be some devotees you can serve and your relationships will grow. And still, if you don't have association, despite the technology and online facility being there, then I would say, then start aspiring, start desiring, start praying. Because all our acharyas have desired association of devotees. Whether it is Narottam Das Thakur, Dhruva Maharaj in Bhagavatam, Narottam Das Thakur in Gaur Leela, Parikshit Maharaj, you name them, everybody wants association of devotees. So continue to desire and aspire, and you will be amazed how Krishna reciprocates. And if you still don't get, then I would only say pray, 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 because this is the greatest wealth. And sometimes we have association of devotees, but we don't enjoy that association because we're not serving. So service mood is where we actually experience the joy of association. And that's my answer. The association is very, very important. Hare Krishna.
There is just two more. If you wish, we can just take it up.
I'll take two more and then I have to leave. Prabhu.
Sure. So I'll ask Rupal Mataji to unmute.
Hi, Krishna Prabhu. Thank you so much for your classes. My question is that sometimes mind tricks me that I have done enough of the Krishna conscious activity, that I've done enough of book reading, I've done enough of chanting, attending classes. So now you can go live happily and do your things and continue with your life. But I know that is wrong. This is because I've heard a lot of Prabhuji saying that for instance, in mode of passion, it means attachment and hankering towards materialistic things. Why cannot mind understand that this hankering or attachment should be more towards Krishna conscious activity or something? It should not. We should be hankering more for chanting, more for instance, I'm reading 2 or 3 quotes from Bhagavad Gita. I should be reading the 4th and 5th one rather than thinking, oh, this is enough, and then closing the book and just continuing.
So if I understand you correctly, you're saying that, I've ticked all the boxes, I've done chanting, hearing and all that, but the mind cheats me saying that, this is enough, but that is wrong, because I should be actually doing more. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
There are 2 ways to answer this, and this is not, you may not like this. I personally feel you may become a victim of what is called in psychology as an imposter syndrome. although you are doing fantastic bhakti, you may think you are an imposter, you are not a good devotee. Many devotees suffer from this. They are doing excellent devotional service. They are doing chanting, hearing, service in temple. They need to be happy. But we as the preachers, our specialty is we make our audience always feel inadequate. We always make them feel they are useless. They are worthless. They are not surrendered enough. They are not chanting enough. They are not hearing enough because you are in mode of passion. Do more. Do more. So my specialty is I will make you feel you are useless, you are worthless. And you are also very humble. Yes, Prabhuji, yes, Prabhuji. So the end result of all of this is, later on you can check on the internet. This is a very big disease. Many people have imposter syndrome. And devotees have more of this. They feel they're imposters. They feel they're useless. They have every reason to be happy. So this is my first answer to your question. That you may be doing just fine. Relax. You are doing just fine. You don't have to beat yourself up. It may be mode of passion. So what? It's okay. You are mode of passion. But you are not forgetting Krishna. You are coming back to Krishna. You want to be a pure devotee overnight. That won't happen. That is one. Secondly, I heard you say, when will the mind understand that I have to do more, right? I'll tell you some secret. Mind will never cooperate. Mind will never accept. Even till you die, as you are dying, on the one ear you will hear Krishna say, "Dear Rupal, come back to me." Krishna will say that. On the other ear, your Maya and mind will combination. They'll tell you, no, stay back. Stay back in material world. Mind will never cooperate. So if you are thinking that my goal of life is to control my mind and mind should cooperate, you will be disappointed. Krishna consciousness process doesn't guarantee cooperation of the mind. Chanting Hare Krishna will not guarantee control of the mind. Chanting Hare Krishna will not guarantee that mind will cooperate, mind will be controlled. What chanting Hare Krishna and Krishna consciousness guarantees is that regardless of the mind's insubordination, regardless of the mind's rebellion, you will be focused on your goal. What do you want? You want the mind to be completely surrendered and peaceful, or you would prefer to be focused on your goal regardless of what the mind is saying?
Peaceful.
Sorry?
Surrendered and peaceful.
Surrendered and mind will not be peaceful. See, I'm telling you, you have two choices. Mm-hmm. Mind will be controlled completely and peaceful. And second is, regardless of the mind being peaceful or controlled, you are going on your goal. So if you are preferring the mind being surrendered and peaceful, you have come to the wrong place. ISKCON is not going to guarantee that. ISKCON will help you go ahead on your march if you have a goal to serve Krishna. ISKCON will give you a process by which, even if your mind is troubling you, you will be going ahead with stability. Unfortunately, many of us are guilty of wanting to control the mind, wanting the mind to keep quiet and not trouble us. This will never happen. This is a massive cheating going on in the outside world, self-help books, motivational books. Mind, even the Buddhist meditators are not able to quieten the mind. So if you want the mind to become quiet, then you have come to the wrong place. Mind can become quiet. You have to take drugs. You'll have to do some brain, something in the brain, some electricity. You have to do something, or you have to take some alcohol, and then forget. Otherwise, mind. In fact, there are so many techniques you can learn. Just see I'll tell you what you need to do. You need to simply be aware of what the mind is saying, and continue doing bhakti. And you will enjoy it. You will be like, wow, my dear mind, you are so amazing. I've given names for my mind, like names for the different things the mind says. But today while chanting with you, my mind was saying what to speak after the chanting, what I should speak in the class. So I was supposed to offer prayers while chanting, but my mind was saying, okay, you can give this example, you can quote Prabhupada, this verse from Bhagavatam. And then immediately at one point of time I stopped. I said, thank you, my dear mind, for being a preacher. See, mind plays different roles. Sometimes preacher role, sometimes the mind is insecure, sometimes the mind is fearful, sometimes the mind is a control freak, Sometimes the mind is an enjoyer. Mind has different roles. So just observe. See, that is observing self and thinking self. Thinking self is when your thoughts are going everywhere. Observing self is when you're separated yourself from your thinking and you're able to see what the mind is saying without judgment. So then you are peaceful, in the sense you cannot stop the mind from what it is saying, but you'll be peaceful because you are observing the mind. If you try to control the mind, you get frustrated, you'll get tired because you can't control the mind. See, you have precious energy. You tell me what you want to do with that energy. Do you want to waste that energy trying to control the mind, which will never be controlled? Or do you want to spend that energy in getting what you want in life?
Spending energy on it. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, spending energy on what you want in life rather than control.
So I'm teaching you those techniques. Prabhupada is giving us those techniques. How to spend our time and energy in getting what we want. Why do you want to waste your energy controlling the mind? Because mind will never be controlled. See, I don't know if I've experienced sometimes the radio. The radio is going on. And in our ashram, I had a locker where everybody was talking a lot of sound. But when I had to read, I would not be disturbed by anything. I would be focused. Sometimes it happens when there's a lot of sound going on, but you're focused on your work as it happened to you.
Yes.
But sometimes there is little sound, but we are hearing all the other sounds, so we are not able to focus at all. So mind is like that non-stop chatter radio. Mind will constantly go on. So just enjoy it. Yeah, अच्छा mind अभी ये बोल रहा है. Mind ये बोल रहा है. ठीक है. Thank you, my dear mind. Thank you. So I do this exercise also. Like for example, today while chanting, I was getting the thought that something is happening in my family friend. Always keeps happening. My brother, something issue. So then instead of getting dragged away, I said, now my mind is having the thought that my brother is in trouble. So basically, I'm having the thought that my brother is in trouble. This is going to happen. That is going to happen. All that. So the mind takes it away from the holy name. So how you puncture it? By separating yourself from the thought, by saying that my mind is having the thought. It's not me. So then you acknowledge it, you accept what it is, and then you move on. Our problem is we want to control the mind. We don't want to accept. See, Krishna consciousness is about accepting who you are, making peace with yourself. Not beating yourself up. We are not yogis. And unfortunately, devotees don't want to practice acceptance. Devotees want to be great controllers of yogic controllers of mind. That is disastrous. Acceptance means मैं ऐसा हूँ, मेरा mind ऐसा है, and I'm okay. I love Krishna and I'm going towards Krishna with my mind. You can't divorce your mind. है माइंड को देखो, चलो साथ में माइंड को लेके. Acceptance is extremely important. It's like, you sometimes devotees don't practice acceptance. They don't want to accept where they are. They just want to beat themselves up. Have you walked on a slippery road ever? Like very slippery? You have to put your right foot on the ground firm. You have to see if it is stable. Then you lift your left foot and then you put it forward. And when you put your forward foot, then again you test that. You see if it is strong, stable, and then you lift your foot again. Acceptance is that. Acceptance means putting your feet in the present moment. You may not like it. You may not like what the mind is saying, but this is where I am. This is what it is, and it is okay. And then you move forward. Acceptance and action goes together. You want action without acceptance. That is the problem. You want to control the mind. No. Action of going forward should be followed with acceptance. You are doing just fine. That's what I feel. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Rose.
Many times devotees, Shivam Prabhu, I just want to add one more point here. Many times devotees do this mistake. They think that, if I keep saying positive things, my mind will be controlled. No, positive thinking is also dangerous. Because, there is a brain surgeon. There's a famous news. And he's an alcoholic also. And he had drunk a lot. And he was very positive. He said, I can do surgery even when I'm drunk. So this positive thinking is dangerous for him. Most of the accidents that happen on the road, drunk drivers accident, those who drink and drive, that is because of positive thinking. I'm great. I can do anything. So this is crazy. Mind you can never trust. Just observe. Don't let the mind affect you. Have a goal and keep moving forward. Recognize what the mind is saying. Dandavat Pranam, my dear mind. Thank you for. So mind has many stories. I give a name to the stories. Fear story, approval seeking story, control story, enjoying story, insecurity story, guilt story. So okay, thank you mind for the guilt story. Hare Krishna. Continue chanting. Rather than get carried away by it, activate your observing self. Don't just live with the thinking self. Just observe and acknowledge. Okay, my dear mind, right now you are speaking the fear story. Thank you for your story. Because your thoughts are not reality. Thoughts don't influence your behavior. Thoughts you can always observe and acknowledge, and it should not. Have you ever felt very angry with someone but still behaved calmly? Smiled at. Have you behaved socially in a very good way, although inside you are very angry? Have it happened to you?
Yes, Rob.
That means you have the ability to not allow your emotions to influence your behavior. That means you have the ability to not allow the mind to disturb you on your goal. So if you have a goal to love Krishna, serve Krishna, go back home, back to Godhead, then you have the ability to continue, whether the mind is crying, not controlled, whatever the mind says, you can continue doing what you are doing. That ability you have just now said that there have been occasions when you are angry, but you are still peaceful externally. So behavior is not influenced by the thoughts. You can do it if you want to, by practice. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Just the last one, I think Bhanu Prabhu is lifting from long.
Okay, last question is Bhanu Ji from Aldia. Yes.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Pranam. Just you were covering the particular things like regarding stability. I could relate with that. Am I audible, Prabhuji?
Yes, go on.
Yeah. So just feel like we are contributing, doing all those sevas, but sometimes we feel health crisis, etc., and we don't find a stable. And I was able to relate that I had gone through this such kind of things, and by hearing your lectures from me, I could initially find for stability I need to take care of my physical and mental need. And I could write all those things like what my physical needs and mental needs. And somehow that I found if I am at one place for more than 1 month, so my mind started talking you should go through Dham, etc. And I consulted my counselor, and he allowed me also. Once in a 2 month, he allows me to go to Dham, etc. So recently, periodically I was going there, but whenever I will go there, my mind will start saying oh, it's schedule is dynamic. Better you are there only, you are following some fixed schedule routine. So I was thinking that I was taking care of my mental need, etc. But I was in loop. Whenever I will go there, my mind will say you are better there only. If I am there at my workplace, then I will feel when there will be time, I will go there. So what is it's how to know that what is the actual mind need? What is any process or any technique to that I could know what is? And because of that, if I am not able to take her, sometimes I go in blaming John, oh, here I have not been taken care properly, etc., etc.
Hare Krishna. I'll repeat what I told just now 2 minutes ago to Rupal Ji, that there is no way you can control the mind. If you are thinking by coming to ISKCON, I'll be able to control my mind, I'm saying you have come to the wrong place. Mind will tell what it wants to say. You have to decide what is important for you and continue doing that regardless of what the mind says. So if you're in the Dham, the mind starts saying this, you can say, thank you, my dear mind, here you go, the nagging spouse. Thank you, my dear mind. Now, here you go. You are ever dissatisfied and complaining. So just observe what the mind is saying, do what is important, because you're in the Dham, take mercy of the Dham, get nourished, be present. Nobody teaches us how to be present, how to be living in the present moment. That's why we suffer. When you're here, you want to go to Dham. When you're in Dham, you want to come back. Because you are never in the Dham, never in Haldia, never in Mumbai. You are with your mind all the time. So we are just teaching you, separate yourself from your mind. Don't try to control your mind. Just see your mind for what it is. Enjoy the drama of the mind. So one day, you relax, you sit down. Don't ask your counselor. Ask yourself what is really important for you. And write it down. I have a basket of activities. I have 20 things I write down. I have a paper. And every day I see those 20 things. Whatever I do has to be within those 20 only. Otherwise, I am in Maya. Those 20 things includes learning English. Those 20 things includes writing poetry. Those 20 things includes nature walk. So the point is, do what semi-spiritual and spiritual activities like basket of activities banao. When you're doing those activities, whatever the mind says, just smile at the mind, not in a critical way. Acknowledge what the mind is saying, accept what the mind is saying, and continue doing what you're doing. Experience the joy of being the present in the present moment. And continue, and you will be happy. And over a period of time, you will not have this question which you're asking now. You will be like, okay, Prabhuji, my mind keeps troubling me, but I'm okay. I'm okay with what the mind is saying. I'm happy to where I am. Right now you're unhappy because whatever you do, the mind will protest. So instead of trying to analyze the mind, you just observe the mind. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you.